Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. It's also the actual anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. 60 years. 60 years. Always easy to remember how many years since that day when you're a Getty's nerd, because it's 100 less than the anniversary of the battle. Heading into town. We're going to do a short drive. I got some stuff to do. Got to edit a few things. I'm trying to edit all of the shows for the next, well, basically for the rest of the year, and schedule them all so I don't have to think about it moving forward, and I can actually enjoy some time off after the Christmas party. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm also to watch a Gettysburg Christmas again today. I meet with Bo and kind of go over ideas for the panel after the premiere, because I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm a little nervous because 800 people is a lot of people to fuck up in front of, part of my French, and I am not as intimately versed in the ins and outs of this movie like I was with Gettysburg. And while I did spend some time with some of the cast, I haven't interviewed all of them before, so I have no foundational information to go off of to ask them questions. So to the audience and let them ask questions. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Tom. Whoops. Sorry there. The thing I don't like about doing it horizontal is it's harder. The comments disappear, so I have to pull them up. Don't bother watching the Quantum Leap, Eric says. They aren't good episodes, but they are from the point of view of Oswald did it. Okay. Well, I'll watch it anyway. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Good morning, Fraser baby. Andy, good morning to you. Matt sent you some photos of Dallas. I checked. Oh, nice. I'll check them out when I get to the office. Morning, James. Good morning, David. David Armstrong. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Welcome. Michael, happy Thanksgiving to you. Andy says they're related to the latest episode. I figured, Andy, yes. Thank you. Hey, Josh, how are you? Josh, by the way, a couple months ago, probably now, you emailed me a very nice email, and I haven't forgotten. It's been sitting at my table. Oh, why did I go this way? It's been sitting at my table in the studio, and I keep intending to get to it when we don't have a lot of stuff to do. But we've had some pretty busy shows, so I haven't had time for listener emails unless they're really quick. And but I wanted to read it because it was very nice, and just wanted to recognize it. So don't think I haven't gotten it. Just I'm not sure if I actually replied to it, because I was going to reply to it through the show, but then life got in the way of actually getting to it. So. Jim says, just watched the entire John Adams HBO series. I was looking for you, but didn't see you. What scenes were you in? When Adams goes to Cambridge to visit Washington's army, you can't make me out. No one, I could point me out, and you would be like, yeah, right, that could be anybody. And it's true, it could be anybody, because there's no way to tell. But I know where I was standing in the camp when it's an establishing shot of the camp It's been a long time since I looked at it, so I don't know if I would be able to give you accurate directions on where to look in the frame, but as I recall, it would be like center frame to the right. Me and one or two other guys are standing in front of a tent, kind of just talking. It's a very quick shot, but I'm there. SP says, have a fulfilling Thanksgiving, everyone. Oh man. Last night, Cindy and I went to dinner with Joe, Peach Orchard Joe, and his wife down in Frederick. And I don't know, man. My eyes were bigger than my belly or something. No, actually, yeah, they were. But I didn't realize that until far after I had gorged myself. And I had to lay down. I had to put the seat back as far back as it'll go on the way home because I felt like I was going to explode. It was awful. And I was like, this is good that this is happening 2 days before Thanksgiving because it'll remind me not to eat like a pig before, for the first time I'm having a holiday dinner with Cindy's family. When I'm full, I don't want you near me. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not very affable. I feel disgusting. I just want to hide until it passes. And it's tough. It's tough life. Let me see where you. Now that we actually are doing it, there, it's a better shot. Good morning, Mitchell. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Good morning, Jennifer. One Day in America. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Good morning, team. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Good morning, Dragoon. Andy, still waiting on a letter, so I know you were busy. But, Andy, that letter was great. I have it on my desk at the office. I would love to try to reply in kind, but I don't know how to write that way. I mean, I could write in modern cursive, and I have a dip pen that I could use, but, not the same. Not the same, but that was really cool. I'm going to try to frame it, except that I think you wrote on both sides of the page, so it'd be kind of hard to do that. Yes, Michael, I was in that as an extra. That doesn't mean anything. Josh says, no worries, Matt. I wrote a short novel. You did. Whenever you get to it, or if you never do, that's fine too. Thanks, sir. Ty says, Jim, Matt actually had one line in the series, these pretzels are making me thirsty. What? They cut it out anyway. Missed the start of this drive because I was listening to the Color Guard Stories episode. Well, that was very wise of you. Very wise of you. Teaching the Civil War. Good morning, Jim. How you doing? Dustin, good morning. Andy, small plates are key. Can always get more. Yeah, I'm going to try that, actually. Good idea. Kevin, good morning to you. Andy, I did as per the customs of the day. Yeah, it was a really cool letter. Andy, you said what it is in the letter, but I forget the name. What is the type of writing that's called? And tell everybody about it, how you're learning how to do that. I think that's pretty neat. Jennifer, Matt, did you go to Remembrance Day? I saw American Battlefield Trust videos of the parade. It looked really awesome. Yeah, I strategically placed myself in their shot. So you see a guy standing in the street with modern clothes covered by a shell jacket and a officer's hat holding a cell phone camera. That would be me. And yeah, because last year I did it and they pointed me out, so I'm like, well, let me see if they do it again this year. I guess they didn't because no one said they did, but there were people that were messaging me saying, I can see you on the trusts. So if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But yeah, I was at Remembrance. I went to the parade. I didn't do all the other stuff. I had a lot of stuff to do that week, and then Sunday I had the Fortinball lecture to go to, but I had a lot of work to do for the JFK show on Monday, so I didn't want to do too much on Saturday. And and honestly, outside of the parade, I never really go to anything. Usually the dedication ceremony is outside, and I cannot stand the cold. I'd rather stand out there and sweat. I'll do that all day long, but I can't stand out there when it's freezing cold. I just can't do it. And so I don't think I've ever gone to one. Also, it's often a big crowd, especially if there's a particularly famous speaker there. And, just not a fan of crowds when I can avoid them. But it was cool. The parade was good. I'll tell you, you can hear us commenting on it at the end of our parade live stream. I noticed this last year, and I noticed it again this year, and it might have actually been worse this year. There's a lot of reenactors, obviously, in this parade. I mean, it's their day. Probably more than anniversary days, like this is their day. And so, everybody who's anybody, or anybody who's anybody was there, and they were, out in force. And so it was really cool. I remember at one point I said I think it was to Rich Condon, I said, isn't it cool, like, looking up the street and you're just seeing row after row of soldiers with the flags flying and everything? Like, that's such a cool look. And it was great. The crowd was great. It seemed like, it was a really good time. Then the Confederates came, and you could hear a mouse break wind. It was so quiet. Very few people cheered. In fact, the flip of when the Union reenactors came down, people in the side, on the sidewalk, cheered for, different units and yelled out to friends they knew and stuff. When the Confederates came down, they cheered for themselves. And I just find the whole thing peculiar. And I think it's just because people, it's not that they wouldn't have cheered because they cheered before, but I think people are just afraid because so many people misunderstand Civil War reenacting, the Civil War itself, and they're afraid of what the wrong person seeing them cheer for. Maybe it's a relative or something that they have marching in the parade, but he's wearing a Confederate uniform under the Confederate flag, and the wrong blue-haired moron sees him and then goes for their job. And I think that's what it is. I mean, I think people are just afraid to have fun and enjoy themselves and be part of the moment. So it was very awkward. I wanted to kind of leave because I felt bad for the reenactors, because they believe in what they're doing. That doesn't mean they believe in slavery. That doesn't mean they believe in the Confederate cause per se. I'm sure some of them do, but overall, that's not necessarily what a reenactor does. And I kind of felt bad for them because I know they love the hobby, and they're marching down the street and like people just are acting like they're not even there. It was very weird. And it was uncomfortable. Made me want to leave because I get both sides of it. I put myself out there in front of people, and when you get like a very quiet response, like you get douche chills for yourself, but then you got to keep on going, so I understand both sides, but it's just awkward. Lost causers have ruined Confederate reenacting from the perception of the general public. Oh, I think the wokies have ruined it from the perception of the general public. I think the general public is afraid to go anywhere near the Civil War as a whole because of the wokies. And I mean, like, you know, I can tell you from talking to some of the motion picture people I know, one of the problems Bo had with the Hallmark Channel and this movie was that they didn't want it to be shot in Gettysburg. They didn't want just the quickest, even in the background, no reenactors, even if they were Union reenactors, because even the Union Army is politically incorrect now. You know, and study of the Civil War is gradually being considered racist. So it's I don't think it's the lost causes. The lost causes ruin it for people like us who know better and who are a little bit more involved in or with reenactors. But the general public doesn't understand that stuff, Andy. They they don't get it. You know, I mean, they use the term, I'm sure, lost cause all the time, but they don't understand where it comes from. There were 2 Robert E. Lees, Andy. Yes, there were. And I actually saw them talking to each other. Teaching the Civil War says the Confederates were small this year. And I can't remember if there were a lot of them last year. I seem to think that there weren't as many as Union, which I guess would be accurate, right? There were fewer Confederates almost all the time than Union. The whole population was smaller. But, I mean, I don't blame them if that's the reception they're going to keep getting. But what I don't understand, and this is probably the problem that people are going to have a problem with it. But what I don't understand is why they're allowed in Remembrance Day. I don't get that. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. You know, to have the dedication ceremonies and commemorate the Gettysburg Address, which was about dedicating the cemetery for United States soldiers, and to have Confederates in the Remembrance Day, I don't get that. I understand that was done long ago, and it's kind of like tradition that hasn't died out yet, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like if we did something to commemorate VE Day and we allowed people dressed as German soldiers to march down the street with us, would people be like, yeah, hey, yeah, Germans, you put up a good fight? Like, no, I don't think so. And you could say, well, they're all Americans. No, not for 4 years they weren't. They were Confederate States of America Americans, but they weren't United States Americans like the rest of us. So, I don't know. The whole thing, our whole culture is strange. You know, I was listening to the beginning of the JFK show today, and we're talking about, or it wasn't the beginning, but I was making clips. And we were talking about, Jen was talking about how people go and stand on the X in Dealey Plaza and take selfies and how weird that is. And I'm like, why? We traipse around Gettysburg and thousands of men died outright here at Gettysburg. And we walk around the fields with a little skip in our step like we're at a playground. So what's the difference? People are weird. And I don't think it's an American thing, honestly. I think it's a human thing. Although I think we kind of do it to the nth degree. But people who are curious about that stuff, especially when people die, we've got a weird fascination with death, because we're all going to go there one day. We're all going to meet it. And I guess we want to know what to expect or something. I don't know. All right, let's get a look out here at the field of Pickett's charge. Now that we've got our landscape mode on. And I'll see if I can catch up on some of these comments here while we're looking. Where did I leave off? Where did I leave off? I think I left off. Wow, there's a lot. Okay. Kevin says, I avoid large crowds these days. They're not safe. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Andy says, I told him also, I just don't like being part of the crowd. I'm sorry. It sounds kind of like a jerk, but I just don't like that. Andy says, I told my spouse that the only Confederates there were dead or in hospitals. The Confederates were small this year. Okay, that's where I was. And all the security along the route was crazy. I didn't notice much security down by me. Which tells me something. Maybe I should go somewhere else. Yeah, the parade gave me a strange sense of what it must have been like in 1863 when the two armies come into town. Yeah, it's a good point. Jennifer, were you here? Why didn't you come down to the Farnsworth? For that particular day, that is, I swear I saw two Robert E. Lees. Enemas all around are needed. Absolutely, Jumpmaster. James says, people need to get over that. They have the right to be in the parade. They have the right, sure. Does it make sense that they're in the parade? That's my question. Lost causers, okay, read that. I agree with your statement about wokies. How could you not? I'm right. Michael says, wow, very picky they are. Bose signed my copy of Gettysburg and Gods and Generals. Good guy. Yeah, he is a good guy. Dragoon says, a local politician was lambasted because their opponent posted a picture of them at a reenactment in Confederate uniform. Yeah, and that's what happens when, you don't teach history and you don't understand things and people, whatever. Marcia says, good morning from 111 King Street, Gettysburg. Yes, still stuck in Gettysburg. What do you mean stuck? I thought you were leaving already. That's my issue too, Matt, Andy says. Who gave Lincoln's speech this year? Do not know. Andy says, as I told my spouse in November 1863, only Confederates were wounded from the battle or dead already. Eric says, I haven't been to the parade, but I do kind of have an issue with the CSA at Remembrance Day. They were the enemy at the time, and we were trying to that's my point, Eric. Yes. Teaching the Civil War, I just found a rock carving where you just passed across from the armory. Not sure where it was. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know anything about it, though. Or playing cornhole at the angle. Yes, playing cornhole at the angle is not appreciated. Eric says, CSA reenactors are important to understand the full history, but not sure they should be shown in a place of respect. I kind of agree with you. Kevin says, nobody gets out alive. There you go. No one here gets out alive. Donald, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, sir. Eric, sorry, that was my serious Colby moment. Last time I marched in that parade, I did 1990s light infantry for the history of GI. Dog face, that would have been nice to see. Chris says, well, I was down by the Quality Inn and the Domino's pizza guy suddenly appeared and got through the parade to deliver pizza. That's awesome. I think it's a law that a Domino's delivery vehicle must be allowed to pass, no matter what is going on. Okay, so like I said, I got to do a short one today, so Just going to drive along here. Not going to go to Culp's Hill. We're just going to go up, up Hancock, that general direction there, and then we will head over to Gettysburg Baking for my breakfast sand wash and cafe. Marcia, car got broken into, broke steering, and oh my God, where the hell was it parked? Ripped out the initial, waiting for parts. Really enjoyed the JFK show. Thank you, Marcia. Yeah, so where were you parked that it got vandalized that badly? I have some guesses. Oh, King Street? King Street's not bad. Huh. This is, again, another reason why I like living out in the country. Not that bad things don't happen out in rural areas, but just the way things are today, populated areas, people done flip their lids, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm sorry to hear that happen. Excuse me, but you get a little extra time here in the Berg, right? So the JFK show, and this always, I knew this was going to happen. It's been demonetized, and a way to avoid that is the part in question, which is Walter Cronkite. Now they demonetize it because of Walter Cronkite, but they only make you certify that you're 18 or over because of the Zapruder film. But it's still monetizable if that was the only thing. So, whatever. So the Walter Cronkite thing, though, it plays in the beginning. And, I'm like, first of all, I claim fair use on that. It's history. It's history. That's the moment when, people learned that the president had been shot. And, breaks into normal television. Like when you watch, television on 9/11, or from 9/11, and you see everything's normal and people, the morning shows are talking about all the saccharine bullshit they always talk about. Here people are watching As the World Turns, and in breaks Walter Cronkite. They were in such a hurry to get it on the air, there's no visual because the cameras that they used back then had vacuum tubes, and they took a while to warm up. And not only that, but they weren't in a studio. Like if you notice later in the day, he's sitting at a desk. He's in the newsroom. They wheeled the cameras in to and lose this, or they can just put the bulletin on the screen and run over to the radio studio and break in on the television. And that's what they did. And so that's why we don't see Walter Cronkite at that moment, but later in the day when he comes back in and updates us all day long, we do see him. Anyway, point is, demonetized for that. They say you can mute the offending part and then you can be monetized. But I say bullshit. because then as that because of the Zapruder film, it's blocked in some regions. And I was like, you know what? I'm putting it on Patreon. I'm uploading it natively to Patreon. They don't do that shit yet. And you can go and watch it over there. So if you want to watch it without any chance of tech nerds and their chicanery being, interfering with you there, it's over on Patreon. It's available for free. I believe you don't have to have an account to watch it for free. I think you can just go there, follow the link. It's in the description of the JFK Show, wherever you find the JFK Show. And if you are like, oh man, Matt worked so hard on this, and this is his livelihood, and they took away his monetization opportunity, poor fella, and oh man, I appreciate the thought that went in, and 3 hours of his time and Jen's time, and okay, I'll become a patron at a first lieutenant level for 1 month, and then of course you'll be there for a month and you'll be like, oh my God, I love it. All right, I'll go another month. And that's just how it works. But that's, that's completely up to you. Completely up to you. Don't let my guilt trip influence you in any way at all, especially now during the holiday season, the season of giving. Okay, where did we leave off? Great minds, Ty. Great minds. What did Ty say? The Rebs did it. Okay, there you go. Thank goodness for the trolley. Only way to get around. Eric says it may have been a Confederate ghost looking for shoes. That's possible. Dustin says, gotta go. Have a string of work meetings. Have a great Thanksgiving, man, and the rest of the AG community. You too, Dustin. You too. And I should be able to upgrade my membership. Oh, have you given enough blood now, Andy? That's good. I'm glad to hear. I hope you're not too dizzy from the blood. But you've done a great thing for humanity. And now you're about to do a great thing for yourself by upgrading to a first lieutenant. I like this better as landscape. You can see more, and the sky looks nice. Is there a yoga studio? Yes, there is a yoga studio in Gettysburg. I think there are a few in the area, but I believe there is only one in town. Might have been two at one point, but I think there's only one now. And I want to say it's on York Street. But I also want to say, I don't know the first thing about yoga. And so it's not on my radar. I tried it once and I was like, I don't get it. I wish I did, because people who do it seem to really enjoy it. And, it's amazing. You can actually get in some pretty good shape doing yoga, which, I did not realize until I saw people who started doing yoga and got into pretty good shape. So that was nice for them, but I can't do it. Kevin says, I appreciate you and your channel. Kevin, thank you very much. Andy says, isn't that usually done with goats, the yoga? Yeah, there is a goat yoga place outside of town. Yeah. Massimo says, Mo. Mo indeed, sir. Mo indeed. Jumpmaster says, at least you all have some blue peeking through out there. Yeah, yesterday it was solid rain all day long. And, I guess we need it. We didn't get much rain over the summer, and people who are, dependent on rain had been walking around town going, oh, we need some rain. Oh, I wish we just need the rain. Somebody goes, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Oh, good, we need the rain. By the way, that lot there right next to McDonald's is for sale. I believe it's in the 600,000 range. So if anybody wants to buy it on behalf of addressing Gettysburg, we have plans for it if we ever got it. Let's see. Ty says, do goat yoga on battlefield, then let the goats clean up the woodlots. See, there you go. That's thinking, Ty. That's thinking. They won't let them do goat yoga on the battlefield, though. Dobbin House to the left, Bantam Roasters to the right now. Go in there, say Hancock when you order, and they'll think you're being obscene. And then they'll realize that that is the promo code for a little discount on your order. And it helps Dressing Gettysburg because they go, oh, sponsorship is working. We'll keep it going. I was traumatized by a few co-workers wearing yoga pants to work, especially grown men should. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Was that lot to the left or right of McDonald's? It's to, if you're looking west, so if you're looking at McDonald's from the road, it is to the left. It used to be a Chinese buffet. I like the wet pavement, though, makes a nice reflection for the video. Oh man, this is so much better landscape. Why the hell doesn't YouTube just make it so that if you turn it landscape, it goes landscape? It doesn't say, go back. .307 in Sheets, at Sheets in Tawnytown. I know, it's amazing. Once you cross that state line, gas drops a good deal. And I always forget that. So like if I have to go to Frederick, I'll get gas before I leave, where I could just go down to Emmitsburg and stop and get gas, and it would be cheaper. Someday I'll remember, guys. Someday I'll remember. Lovers in love. Alrighty, alrighty. Looks like the pub is getting ready for Christmas with their Christmas decorations, very famously decorated every year. The pub, or as we call it, Les Pub, because of the huge French influence we have here. Yes, so it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, folks. God help me. God help me get through this season. All right, I've got to go and get breakfast and get on to work and all that other stuff. It has been great catching up with you guys. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving and a good time with your family. Remember, no politics, and everything will be okay. You can still love your aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews. Otherwise, I will see you perhaps Friday, perhaps Monday, perhaps never again. Goodbye.